Everybody say hey. Everybody wave. Hey. All right. Everybody, thank you. Oh crap.
Oh, there.
Hey, you guys should come more. Does everybody have the sign-in sheet? Okay, cool. Once you fill out the sign-out sheet, that's gonna be you're gonna be in order. So you don't have to you can mosey around here, you can come around here, you don't have to be in line. That is the line, the sheet. I think you're gonna love this guitar a lot more now, because it sounds good. Yeah, it's gonna. Oh, it's that warm. That's what that phosphor bronze does. If you love it, you play longer. Well, we made it. 10 hours and 20 minutes straight, non-stop of restrings at Sam Ash. Basically, from 10 a.m. when the store opened until 8 p.m. when the store closed, we never stopped. I went straight, no breaks, no nothing other than, just taking a couple of drinks of water here and there. And Phil, the technician at Sam Ash, was amazing and brought me some coffee. And of course, the guys at Sam Ash made sure me and Ralph had drinks. And they offered us to buy us lunch and stuff, but there just wasn't any time. So we're going to talk about some of the problems with the event and then the successes, because there was a lot of successes and only a few problems, but there was problems. One of the biggest problems at the event was we were unable to get to all the guitars. So there was an amount of people who just couldn't wait any longer and they had to go. So we did collect up all your information. I do have your email addresses, and I plan to email you all and everyone who shows that they didn't get a restring on the event. So at least we can mail you a care package, something nice, just to say thank you for coming to the event. I really appreciate you coming out. Again, like I said, we didn't know what to expect. The number of people was a lot of people. The things that we didn't anticipate was some of you had driven really far, and I was really shocked how far. Some of you drove 4 hours. Some people drove 3 hours. It seemed really important to you that I do the work. So that's what kind of hit us, which we weren't anticipating. There was Sam Ash employees there. There was 4 stations there to do the work. Just like I said, nobody really wanted that. They were there for the Know Your Gear event. So we learned that now. So we, me and Ralph and I, we quickly adapted really early. And what we did is kind of an assembly line system.
We got break it out. For over here. I actually have the same guitar you have, Ralph.
Mine's cooler because it's mine.
Well, mine's cooler because it's mine.
That's the attitude you have right there. I like that attitude.
So what we did is we had Ralph take in the instruments, and what he would do is take out and measure all of your height to give you an idea of where your guitar is set up and put that on the sheet. This information was great because he could give you feedback on whether or not your action was too high or too low, and then ask you some questions based on how you feel about your guitar based on the information he was taking down. Then he would take a fret rocker and make sure you didn't have any high frets. After that, he'd take a caliper and find out exactly what kind of gauge strings were on your guitar. A lot of you guys were right, but some of you guys didn't know, so it was nice to find that information out. Then Ralph would go ahead and remove all your strings so that the guitar could be handed off to me for the next stage. Now, once I got the guitar, I would do everything from polish frets to oil the fretboard, to go ahead and correct light fret sprout. Well, that's what the frets are sticking out of the sides. Go ahead and do the restring, make adjustments to the bridge if needed, do some deoxit and clean out the potentiometers and pots, even make some slight neck adjustments with a truss rod. So again, very light setup, more so than maybe what a restring's involved, but just get these guitars going. And we did see a lot of guitars, 12 strings, 7 strings, you name it, every crazy kind of guitar, short scale, quarter size guitars. If it was a guitar you guys seem to have that you liked, you brought it, and we enjoyed every minute of it. So this assembly process really let us get more guitars through than we would have been if it was just me. In fact, it doubled the amount of guitars I could do doing it that way. And I ended up doing every guitar except for two. The two I didn't do was the first one and the very last one. The first one was because it was a little problematic. It was a Robo Tuner guitar, but also I was still dealing with the setup process to get ready. Another thing that happened was I had ordered some Dava Picks to give away. I wanted to give everybody one of my Dava Picks, and they didn't make it to the event. So I used my personal Dava Picks, and that morning I was kind of had to reorganize my plans a little bit. So again, that's what we're gonna do, rolling with the punches, right? That's what the point of this event was to realize. The last guitar of the night, it was just because we had already been past 8 o'clock. We were keeping the Sam Ash staff there after 8 p.m., but we wanted to get the very last guitars that had waited to get done. And so I apologize to the first and the last one for not being able to do the restring. At least I was able to look at them and go through them a little bit, but you understand. Can you process the next one? Okay, look at that. So this is going to be Brazilian rosewood, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because it's pre-69, right?
56.
56.
It's the best we can tell. It'd been refinished when I bought it, actually. And so there's no serial number. He looked at the luthier, figured the buds. Yeah.
I every time you pick up vintage old guitars, they're light, and they tell you how mahogany's heavy. And I'm like, no, mahogany, because this is actual mahogany.
Yes,
most mahogany is not mahogany. It's like sapele and all the other stuff. So I'm like, every time you pick up real guitars back in the day, you're like, no, this is a different experience than what they claim we should be experiencing. Even though it was 10.5 hours straight, Ralph and I agreed it was a blast and we had fun. We learned a lot about how we should organize something like this, given that this isn't really kind of like a restring event. This is really like a diagnostic event. More of you, in fact, I would say the majority, were more interested in having us look at the guitars and just give you feedback on your instruments and look at them than the restrings. In fact, a lot of customers told us something very interesting. They didn't really care about the restring. You could have just bring guitars and have us fill out the paperwork and go through them and give suggestions. And we actually have discussed that afterwards at the dinner, and later we discussed, what if it was just maybe a restring clinic where we show you how to do restrings, maybe get Addario to hand out strings so you know how to do it now, and then allow everyone to bring their guitars and spend 5 minutes with each guitar, because really when you look at it, we were spending 5 to 6 minutes diagnosing the guitars and then 10 minutes restringing and cleaning and servicing them. So if we were just doing diagnostics, we could have funneled through twice or 3 times as many people as we did. The support you guys gave is tremendous. The amount of Know Your Gear shirts that showed up was amazing. The people who drove 3 and 4 hours, I was just awestruck by that. I couldn't believe it. I want to thank Sammy Ash, specifically Richard Ash, and of course all the crew at that Sam Ash. Addario Strings, especially for promoting and giving all the strings. That was just again, made the event possible. Ralph especially, he says his back hurt a little bit. Other than that, he seemed fine. You guys, again, were phenomenal. It was 10 hours of talking about something we love, which is guitars and music. I couldn't ask for a better day. The amount of new players was really impressive. I met at least a half a dozen people that day who had taken up guitar in the last 6 months. That tells you a lot right there. That's that new blood in the market that people say that we don't have. Well, there it was. There was lots of that. I'll make an announcement every time we do an event like this. And thank you again, because I think a lot of you caught what this is really about. It's about me interacting with the audience and saying thank you for supporting a channel like this, but also getting your butts out of the house and into a music store to check out some gear. Right? Instead of watching a guy talk about gear, there it was for you to check out. A lot of you took advantage of that, played some guitars, played some amps. It was fantastic. Hopefully you learned something, found something you liked. It was great. A lot of you had your personal guitars, so you got to plug into their amps and try their stuff, try their pedals. So again, that's what it's about, and learning something. Definitely over and over again, I got told, didn't know that, didn't see that, didn't understand that. And this is, to me, if I really need that cracky single coil tone here, I just go here, and the 2 out of phases there give you that thinner tone.
There you go.